And we're live with Paranormal Dash Spirits. This is the place we come to get our booze on. We talk about booze, the things that go bump in the night. And I get to do it with all my favorite booze. And we have all experienced paranormal experiences. We've all had things that go bump in the night. And we all like to drink. I have with me... I'm Mike Black. I have with me my wife, Alyssa Black.
Hello.
And my best friend, John.
Hello. I would say hello in Scots Gaelic, but I don't know how to say that. So
I don't either.
Because we have Scotch. See.
Right. And so tonight, we're going to have a chilling tale that has really captivated a lot of people for many decades. It revolves around arguably one of the most haunted houses in the world, and the horrible deaths of the Defeo family and the terrifying experiences of the Lutz families who moved in after the Defeo Murders. So we're all talking about the Amityville Horror, or the haunting.
The Amityville House.
The Amityville House, yeah. So, moving quickly on to our drink of the day. John, what are we drinking today?
This is Tamdhu. It is a Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey from Scotland.
What does Speyside mean? I don't even know.
Speyside, there's a River Spey in the Highlands, and Speyside is the region around the River Spey.
Okay.
Beside the River Spey, and that's why they call it Speyside, right?
Yep.
Is that really true?
Yeah, pretty much.
To Scotch drinkers,
wow.
does that mean something different than other things?
Yes.
Okay.
There's Speyside, there's Isla, there's Highland, which can also be Speyside because Speyside is in the Highlands. There's Lowland. There's the islands like Orkney and Shetland north of the mainland Scotland. Mm-hmm. And Isla, of course, is an island in the Inner Hebrides.
Okay. So, is this... I always hear the term... This is very smoky. This is very peaty, and I'm not a Scotch drinker.
It should not be hard. I haven't tried it yet, but it does say there's a touch of peat.
Oh, okay.
But I would imagine not much. Most Speysides are not peated, or if they are, there's just a tiny bit.
Right then. Well, tell me more.
This is 12 years old. It spent 12 years in Spanish. I am tongue-tied and twisted. Spanish Oloroso sherry cask, so cask that formerly housed sherry. It is 43% ABV, a little bit higher alcohol content. It's 86 proof. And
That is a beautiful bottle.
it is a beautiful bottle.
I don't know if you can tell, but this part looks like the old Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
Glasses that you would get. All right, let's pass this around then. John, can you reach yours?
Can I reach around? What?
I did not say reach around. So can you reach yours? Not mine.
Smells like sherry casks. Yep.
Okay, it really does. You can smell.
The
Smell that
dried
sherry.
fruits.
It smells like a wine.
But
Like I
sherry.
feel like
Yeah.
Distillery has been operating for 125 years.
Wow. That's like a long time.
It looks like it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Is it pretty rough looking?
Yeah.
It's in a town called, I think, Knockendhu.
Oh, wow.
Knockendhu.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That smells like
Oh.
a sherry bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sláinte?
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Tastes like a sherry bomb. It's good.
Ooh. It's
Ooh.
warm. Warm.
I really think that's really interesting because when I first get it, I get one kind of flavor, and then a couple of seconds later, I'm getting something else.
Yep.
And then I get some more. And I'm getting like just itsy bits of caramel, but I get brown sugar. I'm getting brown sugar on that.
I'm tasting a lot of those that kind of dried fruit, raisin-y kind of. It comes from the sherry casks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you're the Scotch drinker. How do you feel about this?
I like this one. This is good. It reminds me of Glenfarclas 12, which is also a sherry aged one. It reminds me of Aberlour 12, which is also. It reminds me of everyone that has not spent any time at bourbon barrels. It's all been sherry aged.
This doesn't taste like anything else that we've drank so far. I don't think. Even the Macallan.
No, the Macallan had some bourbon time in it.
Mm-hmm.
I like
What do you think?
the Speyside flavor.
Other than it's warming you, what do you think?
I'm warm.
I can tell you what you're supposed to be tasting.
Oh, okay. What do they tell me I'm supposed
Well, the
to be
nose,
tasting?
iced cinnamon rolls, fresh sweet oak, and a hint of mint.
Iced cinnamon rolls.
I don't get any of that.
I don't get any of that. I'm sorry.
The
I don't have a
palate.
talented
What kind of
nose.
cinnamon rolls are they eating?
Even though my nose is large, I don't get the cinnamon rolls.
On the palate, mouth coating silkiness. I would agree with that.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm down.
With banana, malt biscuit, and classic sherry oak depth. The sherry oak depth I can taste the malt for
The
sure.
malt for sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
I don't get any banana.
You get banana?
A little bit.
Really? Okay.
Really small.
Or did I influence you to?
You could have.
The finish, long and balanced, with ground spice, dried fruit, and soft Scottish tablet, whatever that is.
I don't know what a soft Scottish tablet
With the
is.
merest wisp of peat smoke, which I do not get at all. I get no peat smoke
I
out of
didn't
that.
get smoky out of that.
I
But
got a little bit of what I thought was peat smoke, but I don't really know that I know what I'm talking about.
that's really good, though.
Well, one of these days I'm going to bring you an Isla. We have an Isla to try, but it's actually an unpeated Isla. But I'll bring you a real one like Lafroig or Lagavulin or Ardbeg, and you will find about peat smoke.
So a Scottish tablet is compared to fudge.
Oh.
A tablet is a medium hard sugary confection from Scotland. It's usually made from sugar, condensed milk, and butter, which is boiled to a soft ball stage.
Or caramel.
And allowed to crystallize. It is often flavored with vanilla and sometimes has nut pieces in it. And it said on here, like, Scottish tablet versus fudge. So that's what that is.
It's good. I like it.
So I would assume this is expensive.
This is about $70.
That is the price point today.
Okay.
70, maybe it was a little over. It's right around $70. Or 58 pounds if you're in the UK.
I could almost get banana. If you blow it out, it's kind of I could get banana.
You want to taste banana, you get the Jack Daniel's single barrel cask strength. The 130 proof one that I add.
And you get bananas from that?
It tastes like alcoholic bananas Foster.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When they put it in when they make black bottle, the black label, old
Yeah.
rock and roll Jack Daniels, they proof it down to 80 proof, and you lose a lot in that. That stuff that I got, remember, it's a fancy bottle too.
I remember.
Very, very banana forward flavor to it.
I feel like we should try this then, because I don't do bananas Foster because as a dessert because I don't do warm bananas. I think it's weird.
You should try it. Be forewarned. The bottle I had was 131 proof. It's barrel proof. I mean, it's straight out of the barrel into the bottle. There's no proofing down. But
So this would
light you up. Is
this
what you're
would
saying.
burn a pretty blue flame, is what you're telling me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it tastes good.
Okay, John. So your take on this? You're much more experienced in Scotch than I am. So
This is a good one.
good. Thumbs up.
It's good. I give it thumbs up. I like sherry bombs, and I like peated smoke, and I love a peated sherry bomb.
Okay.
Like Lagavulin. This is not that, but it is really good.
Alyssa.
I don't mind it. I'm coming into Scotch. I'm new. I'm new to Scotch.
Yeah, me too.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. I don't drink a lot of Scotch. I'm new to this game. So, however, I'd almost think that I would rather sit down and drink this than the Macallan 12 that we had.
I agree.
This is way better than the Macallan 12.
I agree. I think this is better.
It's got
Macallan
more-
has the name, I guess. Because
This
everybody
is
knows
more
that name.
robust, to use a little buzzword. But it really is though. It's got more flavors to it.
It does. It's more complex
on the
for
palate
sure.
for sure.
One of these days, I will pick up a bottle of, when I see it, we don't have it at this liquor store, but there's an Abalor Abunad, which means the one. And it is a cast strength, a sherried, Speyside cast strength. Usually runs about 120 proof. And I've been dying to try that because if you're this good at 86, at 100 plus proof, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
I want to try it. I do, but that's good.
This is
About
one of these
100
I'm not going to drink as
pretty
quickly as I do,
expensive.
tequila, but I'm a tequila person.
Yeah.
So
This-
I'm getting used to this.
Thumbs up from me as well.
It's a thumbs up. For sure.
Okay. You guys ready to get in the story?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so you guys got to play along with me tonight. Because I'm going to set the mood. So I'm springing this on you. I know. I didn't tell you we were going to do this. This is what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay? All right. So, the date was November 13th, 1974.
Was it a Friday?
God, you can really do that, can't you?
We can
Okay,
find out on the internet real quick.
Let's try again.
Well, you said a 13th. I mean, really?
Friday 13th, I don't know.
Just what day of the week was
November 13th,
November
1974.
1974.
Oh, what day of the week? What day of the week was November 13th?
You know, if you used Chat GPT, it would already given you an answer.
Oh, it was a Wednesday.
Oh,
Mer-
hump
mer.
day.
Okay, thank God it was a Wednesday and not a Friday.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
All right, let's try this again.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Now imagine yourself. The date was November 13th, 1974. The wind was blowing from the west about 12 miles an hour. The temperature was 60 degrees and dropping, so it's a little cool outside. And the humidity is 93%, so the air is like really thick, you know. Off in the distance, you can hear this dog barking. Okay, and this dog is just barking incessantly. Okay, it's wanting to be let in. The place was 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, Long Island, New York. The time was 3 a.m. when the first gunshot rang out from a .35 caliber Marlin Lever action rifle. 7 more shots would follow over a period of 15 minutes. Ronald Butch Defeo Jr. shot his mother, father, and 4 siblings while they were asleep in their beds. The victims were Ronald Defeo Jr., Sr., his wife Louise, their 4 children, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John. The children had all been killed by single shots, while the Defeo parents had each received 2 shots. Okay, open your eyes.
Okay, thank you. I was really hurting to keep my eyes closed.
So, they'd all been shot twice, the parents had. The Defeo parents received 2 shots. According to the Suffolk County Police, the victims were all found lying face down in bed. All of them, all 6 of them. Defeo admitted that he had taken a bath, redressed, and discarded crucial evidence like bloodstained clothes and a Marlin rifle and cartridges on his way to work as usual. The murders were not discovered until 6 o'clock that night when Ronald Defeo Jr. walked into Henry's Bar in Amityville, Long Island, New York, and declared, "You got to help me. I think my mother and father are shot." Okay, so one odd fact about the murders that stands out among everything else, there were neighbors that were awake at 3 o'clock in the morning at the time of the shootings, but not one single person heard the gunshots. They all heard the dog. We're talking basically a deer rifle, a 35 millimeter.
35 caliber.
35 caliber. I'm
like
sorry.
That,
yeah, I'm sorry. 35 caliber rifle, and nobody heard it. So that was the thing that was really confusing. One, that you could get 6 people to lay face down and get shot in the back over a period of about 15 minutes. The other thing was nobody heard it. I heard the dog. Defeo was also known as Butch, the only surviving member of the family, and initially claimed that the murders were carried out by a group of unknown assailants. However, inconsistencies in his story led him eventually to confessing to the murders, claiming that he had been possessed by evil spirits at the time of the killings. The police quoted him as saying, "Once it started, I couldn't stop. It went so fast." Defeo was tried and convicted of 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences. The Defeo house where the murders occurred was put up for sale in 1975, but remained unsold for over a year due to its association with the brutal killings. In December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz purchased the home at a reduced price and moved in with 3 children.
And this is where the story really starts.
And this is where all
the paranormal part of it.
The crazy haunting starts. Well, I mean, if you look at what happened to Ronald Defeo or Butch Defeo, and you go with his first story.
That he was possessed.
He was possessed by a demon who had been taunting him and talking to him. And so when the Lutz moved in, they immediately started experiencing paranormal activity from the very first night. They would get strange odors. George described it as smelling like a, quote, like a combination of human excrement, as if someone hadn't flushed the toilet, rotting food, and decaying flesh. Kathy Lutz also mentioned the presence of a sickening sweet smell that made her gag. The family experienced cold spots throughout the house. They said George said it was like walking through a cloud of ice. A tingling sensation as if your blood was turning to slush. Mysterious noises. They heard a range of unexplained and eerie noises. They mentioned hearing loud and persistent banging sounds and knocking throughout the house, as if someone were... and Kathy said she could hear people whispering in voices that sounded like a foreign language. George Lutz described hearing footsteps that seemed to come out of nowhere. Levitation. The family claimed to have witnessed objects moving or levitating on their own. George Lutz stated chairs would slide across the floor. Sometimes they turn over or stack themselves in piles. Even large pieces of furniture would move. Physical contact. They all had said that they had been slapped, hit by this invisible entity. Kathy Lutz mentioned that she had been scratched, had her hair pulled. George said he saw these glowing red eyes outside the window and inside the window. Said it looked like, he described it as like the eyes of a giant pig, red and glowing with an unholy light. Shadow figures. Claimed to have seen shadow figures or silhouettes lurking in the different parts of the house. Kathy Lutz described them as human-shaped shadows, like dark figures without any distinct features. She also mentioned seeing figures that appeared twisted and distorted, resembling demons. That's her words. Time distortion. The family described experiencing time lapses and distortions. George Lutz recalled minutes seemed like hours and hours would vanish in an instant. It was as if time had lost all meaning and we were trapped in an eternal nightmare. In animal behavior, the dogs exhibited unusual behavior. George Lutz mentioned that the dog would growl at empty corners, bark at unseen entities, and whimper when entering certain rooms. It was clear that something was unsettling him. Religious symbols. The crosses would turn upside down and get knocked off the walls. Rosaries were twisted into strange shape. It was a clear sign that an evil force was present in the house, said George. So this family, they're experiencing all this, and they were only there 28 days, and that's all they could stand. Now, George and you and I had talked off camera before this and about, this has been debunked, and George said, hey, it's, I lied about it. Okay.
Some things Some things he says he lied about.
And that's what I started. I started really looking into it after you said that. And I'm thinking, well, let's look at this. And so what George actually said was that he embellished the story to make it more profitable or more
right.
So that he could sell the story.
Some things were demonstrably false, like the footprints in the snow, because there was no snow on the ground that day in 1974.
So I'm going with the idea that the place was probably haunted, maybe not to the extent that, well, obviously not to the extent that he described it.
The big thing for me is Butch Defeo's attorney and Butch Defeo both tell the same story, that Butch Defeo's attorney, whose name escapes me at the moment, had gone to the Lutz's, and they all concocted this story over several bottles of wine to make some money, and he'd come to Butch Defeo in jail and said, hey, you want to make some money?
Yeah. So...
That's not to say the house isn't haunted, because some horrible shit happened in that house. So,
and that's all. But all of that is post Defeo murdering his parents and all 4 of his siblings, and doing it within 15 minutes and getting all of them in the back. And it's like, man, I don't know how you would do that.
I don't know how the gunshots weren't heard. That's the one thing I don't understand.
Gunshots weren't heard. He got them all to lay down. How do you do that? I mean, you've just shot mommy and daddy. Why am I going to lay down? I'm going to run and be screaming and hollering.
Butch's story that he tells is different.
But which one?
The one that Dawn killed the boy and girl while he was off chasing his accomplice down and bringing him back. And that's why he struggled over the gun with Dawn, shot her.
Right.
Which gave everyone time to move the bodies all into the exact same position or do whatever they wanted.
But from the physical evidence, the bodies were shot in place. They weren't moved afterwards.
I don't know.
So
if you can't hear the gunshots outside the house, then you can't hear them inside. But I guess I don't know. That is the most unexplained part of the whole thing. The
$64,000 question is why no one heard not one gunshot, but 8 gunshots.
But the police tested it, and you could hear it half a mile away.
Yeah,
gunshots.
That's what I'm saying. So how did no one hear that? Those people that were outside and heard the dog, but they didn't hear the gunshots? I just think it's strange. And another thing that I think is interesting.
Do they do a tox report on these people? Like, did he drug them?
Well, no. There's no drugs found in their system. They were not drugged.
No drugs.
Now, Butch, different story with his system.
He had a lot of drugs.
No, yeah, I knew about him, but I'm saying that's like how the idea of them all laying down, if they had been drugged, then he could have done that.
Drugged.
No drugs. And another thing that I think warrants some weight being put on the fact that it was haunted is the fact that the Lutzes called in Ed and Lorraine Warren. And they came. Now, the Warrens, for those who don't know or are new to paranormal research and paranormal investigation and stuff like that, the Warrens are like the godfather and the godmother of paranormal investigation. They them
and Hans Holzer, who also investigated the house as well.
Also, Hans Holzer. And Warren said, they created the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952. They had lectured all over the world and claimed to have encountered demonic presences at other sites.
If you've seen the Conjuring movies, that's
exactly
that's them.
I'm going to mispronounce this name. I know I am. It's Snekeder House. The Snekeder House, which that's haunting in Connecticut, was based on that. Based off of in 1986, Carmen and Al Snecter rented a house in Southington, Connecticut, and the Warrens investigated that one. The Perron House, which was the one for the Conjuring
House, yeah.
And it was that was like horrible place. The Enfield Poltergeist, which I think that was England. Conjuring 2, wasn't it?
It was the opening scene in Conjuring 2 where they were in the UK. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have the Enfield Poltergeist. You have the South End Werewolf.
I don't know about that one.
There was a case of demonic possession in Essex, England. A ordinary dude, William, what was his name? Ramsey, claimed to be possessed by a demon that compelled him to take the form of a werewolf. And there's lots of stuff out there to read on it, but
I didn't know about that one.
yeah.
I knew about the Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, the famous case where the Warrens testified in court of this guy who killed someone that he was possessed by a demon.
No, I'd forgotten about that one.
And then there's Annabelle, the whole Annabelle doll thing, and
That's
all
the
those
next
movies
one
as well.
Annabelle
And The Nun
is based on study or research by Ed and Lorraine, or investigations by Ed and Lorraine Warren. So these people, they've cut their teeth on some serious investigations, and they had a lot to say about 112 Ocean Avenue. And they're saying that it was built on a site where dark rituals were performed. They said they experienced several paranormal events, including cold spots and moving objects. Claimed to have communicated with the spirit of a young native girl named Matawan. And so they ended up conducting a blessing of the house, but claimed that the demonic presence was too strong to be fully expelled. They also brought in a priest to bless the house, who reported feeling a sense of evil within the home. The Warrens claimed that Amityville was the most terrifying and disturbing case they had ever investigated. Lorraine was even quoted as saying, "This is the closest to hell I ever want to get." So these people who have done all these investigations, and like I say, godfather and godmother of paranormal investigation, they say the place is haunted, and they're betting their reputation on it. They're experiencing all these things here, and is it because that they were more in tune to that, or what do you think?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Has anyone who has lived in this house since the Lutzes had reported any experience whatsoever?
No one.
Was it blessed once they left?
Oh, it's been blessed several times.
Hans Holzer had been in the house after the new people, after the Lutzes bought it. He investigated the house. His theory was that in a case of a possession, sound does not travel outside the area of the possession. That's his explanation for
the gunshots.
It's somehow encapsulated.
But I think a lot of people, George Lutz.
Wasn't he into the occult?
Well, he said he wasn't on the Merv Griffin show, but then he lied.
Yeah, and everybody knew that. So that brings up a good point. As we've talked about the Warrens.
Now, granted, he was there after the actual murders. So, I mean,
he had a history of dabbling in the occult prior to moving into that house.
Right.
Yes.
So for them, here's what I'm getting at. Did he purposely seek this house out?
It was a really sweetheart deal, money-wise.
Right, but because he also is dabbling, it kind of makes you wonder.
His motorcycle buddy said he had a history of dabbling in the occult.
Yeah. There's lots of documentation on
also, his stepson said that he
Yeah,
had all kinds of books on witchcraft, and
there's tons of documentation online about George Lutz dabbling within the occult and dealing, or he was seeking out teachers. He was seeking out teachers that were that could help him learn about the occult.
My thing is, I love a good deal. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah.
I love a good deal.
And it was a good deal because it had been on the market for a year and they couldn't sell the thing.
But I'm not going to keep the same furniture that these people were murdered on.
There was still blood in the house when they came in. There was still blood.
Did luminol exist back then? Because if it did, they could have sprayed it. It would just lit up like the 4th of July.
I'm all about a good deal, but that's a hard pass. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just that it's like, okay, so they knew it was a good deal. And they went in, they bought it, but there were still bullet holes in the house. They kept the furniture that the beds that I think the boys were killed in.
Yep,
they kept them.
Kept the beds the boys were killed in.
The nightstands in some of the bedrooms they kept.
Yeah,
I'd have burned all that shit.
What about the flies? They talked about the flies on the wall.
Evidently, that was legit. The priest said that he experienced that as well. and that was that in the sewing room or one of the bedrooms?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I thought it was the upstairs one.
There's some upstairs room
Yeah.
that
One
they
where the
use for
window
snowing.
came down.
Yeah,
Because
John?
Stephen?
John or Stephen?
Well,
One of the Lutz boys.
one of the Lutz, but actually I've seen interviews with both Lutz brothers, and they both swear about the window thing, and that it took George Lutz and his buddy who was there quite a while to lift that window up off of his fingers.
So that's another thing. It's like, so Lutz said, yeah, they got me, or, the place is haunted. That's why we moved out. But then...
He's also behind on the mortgage too,
So, but I mean, he said, so he moved out, and he changes his story later and says, "Oh no, I was just joshing, it really wasn't haunted." So he's vacillating back and forth of whether it's haunted or not. So would there be a reason for him to say, "Okay, I was just kidding, it's not haunted"?
Well, I never heard him say it was. He said we may have
No, he absolutely said he
embellished
embellished to CBS News.
and added some stuff for the book.
Like the green ooze and that kind
The
of stuff.
green
that
ooze was
all-
totally. He admitted
yeah.
that was all made up, but he said it is mostly true. And the Sons,
They say it's true.
they say it's 100% true. They seem really scarred to this day
Oh,
by
yeah,
what went on in
absolutely.
that house, but they also hate George Lutz. Like the one said, "I'm glad that son of a bitch is dead." They
So-
hate him. They hated their stepdad, but they seem. I believe that they believe it.
Yeah, I think they do too.
100%.
What was that one I watched? My Amityville Horror.
Yeah,
We haven't seen we've only seen the one episode, and there's multiple.
Well, no, there's
there's
a documentary
one-
film, and it's the one brother,
Oh.
the
The
younger
son.
brother,
Yeah,
the
one
one
of the
whose
sons from Lutz.
hand actually got caught in the window, and he'll show you
It's one of those little fingers
his
just
Peggy's
way
off,
crooked.
off from that window still.
But they had, they conducted.
Because the
all
window came and shut down. We haven't talked about that. Sorry, you didn't mention that.
I did not. But anybody that's seen the movie has seen that scene. It's horrible.
Yeah, I assume it's also in the Ryan Reynolds version, the newer
It is.
version as well.
Where
Yeah, I
he
think
sticks his
so.
hand on the window, and the window shuts on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it takes two men to pry the window up off of his hands.
Okay.
Anyway, they wrote their book and they made lots and lots of money. I think Jay Anson in 1977 wrote the book and about the events of what happened to the Lutz. And then it was James Brolin and Margot Kidder were in the movie playing George and Kathy
Thanos'
Lutz.
father.
Yeah, right. And it grossed $86 million, become a cultural phenomenon. And so spawned several sequels and spin-offs and adaptations. And then it was remade in 2005 with Ryan Reynolds and Melissa George playing George and Kathy Lutz. And Defeo later, and this is Butch Defeo later, scoffed at the claims of supernatural activity in the house, saying, "There was no demon. You know who the demon is. I am the demon."
Yeah, he said it was just cold-blooded, drug-induced murder to kill an abusive father. Or him and Dawn and two of his friends were getting high in the basement and decided to do away with their dad.
Yeah. So here's my thing.
And everybody else.
That was Dawn. He says that was his sister.
But this story, though, it's him saying it was his, that story has changed so many times. And now he's dead.
Now he's dead.
And we don't know. And so I don't know. I can't really rely on what Butch says because
He's
it
not a
changed so many
reliable
times.
witness.
He's not a reliable witness.
He's a murderer and a heroin addict. And
Right. Butch said it was haunted. He said he was possessed by a demon.
First.
Initially, yes.
But he left no one alive to corroborate that story.
No. Okay, Butch said he was possessed at first. No one heard the gunshots. There was no drugs involved with the family that was shot. And they were all face down. Parents got double tapped and the kids got one each. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Over a course of 15 minutes, nobody hears a gunshot.
No suppressor was used. That rifle did not have a threaded barrel. There was no...
Nope. So, how did that happen? Did a force hold them down? Okay, so George said it was haunted. Kathy Lutz said it was haunted. The priest that came in to bless the house, said he felt an evil presence there. And then we go into everybody that's investigated it since then.
There would have been forensic evidence of them being held down on the bodies,
and there was not. There wasn't. So, unless it was a rule that everybody in the house slept on their face, which...
I mean, I sleep on my face. If you came and shot me in my sleep, that's how I'd be found, is on my face.
I mean, everybody in the whole family.
If I wasn't, everyone else would be awake from the snoring.
Okay, but the people that said it's haunted, we can go down the list. We got Ed and Lorraine Warren, number one. Hans Holzer, Laura Didio.
That's the woman from the reporter.
The reporter that gathered everybody for I guess it was the initial investigation.
She's the one where, also the reporter though from the local news, I don't remember if it was ABC or NBC or whatever, but that guy, they re-interviewed him for that documentary, and he said, and in his he said that he said way more horrifying things happened to him during the 2 hours watching the movie in a crowded New York City theater than happened in the 6 hours that he was in that house.
Right. Okay, but these are the people that have said it's haunted.
But that was after the Lutzes had moved out. That was the new owners at the time.
Ed and Lorraine Warren, Laura Didio, John Zaffis, Ryan Buell, Nick Groff, Angel Singh, Zach Bagans.
wait, but they've never been in there. When have they been in there? Because no owners of that house since that's been a thing have ever allowed anyone in that house to investigate since the 80s. No one's been in there.
Grant Wilson, Jason Hawes, Steve Gonsalves, Dave Tango, and Chip Coffey. These are the ones that have investigated.
Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters have both been in that house.
That's what it said.
Huh.
So, but anyway, these are all the people say, yeah, this is haunted. And Ed and Lorraine, in and of it, of them, just them, if they said it's haunted, I'm going, it was probably haunted. Does that mean it's haunted today? No, I don't think so.
I was thinking if Jason Hawes and Steve Gonsalves and Dave Tango say it's haunted,
you're down. It's haunted.
Then I will give it some credit there. Just because Zach and Nick and Aaron say it's haunted doesn't mean that it's necessarily haunted. No offense, Zach. Please don't cancel us.
So don't get us canceled. So anyway, the debate goes on. Nobody really knows. Everybody has their assumptions and what they think about, whether it was haunted or whether it was not. I think that the fact that Ed and Lorraine said it was haunted gives a lot of credence to it. And I think that the fact that just from a forensic standpoint, no drugs, no rifle sound, and a half mile away they said they heard it.
Long way away, yeah. It's not a quiet rifle.
No. So that's like, that makes me think maybe it was, But still, like I say, the debate goes on. And even if it was, it doesn't mean it is today, because they've lived there for...
I think it probably left with George.
Do you think?
If it was at all...
Because he was messing with...
I think it had way more to do with George than it did with Butch DeFeo or anything.
I think there was something was messing with Butch DeFeo, whether it was drugs or...
Well, yeah, heroin was messing with Butch DeFeo, but George Lutz clearly lied. I've seen multiple interviews where they ask him, have you had any experience with the occult prior to the movie? And he's like, oh, no. And then other people who've known him for years is like, he's lying through his teeth.
Yeah.
The weird collection of occult books and things that he had in there. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with transcendental meditation, but you can start opening yourself up to things.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you don't know what you're doing.
And then nothing after they leave.
That's what I don't understand. Because you don't have anybody to attest for, the year that went by from the murders to the actual purchase of the home by them, because nobody lived there. Nobody there, and all that crap is still in there. And then you have that other idea 2 is after everybody else moved there, did everybody move the crap out? Because how many times have you watched these things where certain items are?
Everything would have been gone if I'd bought that house.
Right.
Unless I was going to turn it into a haunted bed and breakfast attraction, then I would leave everything in there.
But so, like, my question then is, everybody else that moved in, did they completely clear everything out of the house? Because who's to say that some of that stuff, those entities weren't attached to the items in there?
It very well could have been.
Because that's never really been talked about. But how many times you're talking, well, you know, that could be the beds, or it could be,
like
you know
the
what I mean?
Annabelle dolls, you know.
The dolls. Mm-hmm. So I would like to know, the people that moved in afterwards, when there's been no report there's ever been any issues, is there anything left in it? I mean, I would be scraping it down past the wallpaper. That creepy wallpaper that was in there, that'd be all gone.
Yeah, they remodeled and even changed the windows.
That wallpaper that looked like the carpet in The Shining.
Yes, yeah, no, that's
well, you know, they
hard
changed the
pass.
windows on the outside.
Yeah,
so that
it doesn't have that
look the same
that
anymore.
that evil eye look anymore. They're square windows now, like you wouldn't, and they changed the address as well.
I remember they changed the address because they told people driving by it, didn't they?
Yeah,
trying to find it.
Can you imagine living at 112 Ocean Avenue?
No, but I can imagine turning it into a haunted attraction and charging people lots of money to spend the night there.
Well, especially because you had the original items in there.
And $1 million mortgage to pay for, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not cheap there for sure.
But I ain't trying to live there.
No.
I don't care. I don't care if that crap's not in there and all the wallpaper's out. I'm not living there.
I think you got it. If you're talking about attachments to body parts, you know, if you gutted, took away the walls with the bullet holes, because by the time those bullets hit the walls, they pass through bodies and they've taken tissue.
A lot of tissue with them.
There's splatter on that furniture.
And on the walls and in the wallpaper. Yep.
Gut it. Clean everything top to bottom. Test everything with luminol after you've gutted it and bleached everything. It might be okay.
Yeah, that's true. Saged it. It's been saged so many times that hopefully.
You've lived in a haunted house.
Yeah.
I've lived in a haunted house. And 2, actually. So, and not to the extent.
No, nothing like this ever happened in the house I was in.
Haunting versus possession, demonic stuff, to me is very different. Because you have some friendly ghosts that want to knock on the...
I'll take another one of those.
And do a little tap dancing on the attic. In the attic is one thing, but some of the crap that they were talking about, it's a whole nother ball game.
Honestly, the first haunted house that I ever lived in, I was just a kid. And that tap dancing in the attic, that was probably the second most terrifying thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Squirrels, man.
That was no squirrel. That was...
Well, and I'm not trying to discount. I'm just saying
that
some of this stuff is very much, to me, if whatever they reported is true, that is demons. That's not just, that's like demonic possession type stuff. That's not just
demonic infestation, technically, is what that would be.
Okay, correct.
I guess.
That's
according to Zach.
Okay, well, we're gonna take his word for it. Not just a haunting.
No.
Evil is I'm getting at evil versus.
So, and I've been in a house where, you know, things move, things fly.
A whole wall is covered in insects.
Yes.
Yeah, but it wasn't haunted, bro. It was.
This place
I've seen that before, but it had to do with
that was the place that
cleanliness.
Bed rails flew across the room at me, which was really trying to do me some damage. But the whole wall was just covered in. But it wasn't flies; it was wasps. But
ew.
Yeah,
nope.
Yeah, it was weird.
Nope.
But
get your EpiPen.
No, and I can't imagine for love nor money going and purchasing a house that I absolutely knew was haunted like that to that extent.
You know, Zach bought the demon house in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. That's Zach. You know, super investigator. Not
he ain't
me.
living in it though.
But that's the thing; he's not living in it.
No, he demolished it. But
yeah.
I could see you buying one, and like I said, turning it into it. You know, oh, you really want to go come spend the night? $150 a night.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Well, I don't know what the going rate is in.
You could stockyards this and $1,200 a
probably
night.
a lot more than that in Long Island, New York,
right.
New York.
So, do you think they were full of crap?
I think that
Final judgment.
I think that Ronald Defeo was either possessed or influenced to the point that he did what he did.
Do you think that his
drug influence, or you just mean
I'm
influence?
talking. I think there was demonic. I really do for DeFeo.
Well, where do you think it come from? Do you think that it was
That I don't have no idea.
it was his chaotic lifestyle and his abusive father and the probably chaotic situation in the home that drew in a negative entity? Because I believe that could happen.
Or did the chicken come before the egg?
I don't know. A lot
There
of the
was a
claims about the
demonic-
property have been debunked by
Right,
the
but what I'm
historical
saying
society.
is, was there a demonic presence there attached to one of them initially, and then that caused the chaos, rather than the chaos drawing in the demonic activity?
So you think?
I think either way it could have.
So
happened.
you don't think he was just high and shot his family?
No, because even being high, how's he going to kill all six of them? How's he going to kill all six of them?
He says there were two of them, but
It was him and Don. That's one story.
him, another guy who had brought a .38 revolver, which was later found in the sound in the water. Years later, they did find a .38 revolver dumped in there,
Okay.
because they pulled a .38 caliber bullet out of the mother.
I didn't hear about 38. I heard 35s. That's the only thing I.
35 and a .38 out of her.
Ah,
So he did have an accomplice, but then he says Don killed the other two while he was chasing down the other accomplice who panicked and ran.
mm-hmm.
And then he comes back. He sees that Don has killed the siblings.
And he's mad because
he's
she
angry
killed the
because that
kid.
was not part of the plan. He didn't want to hurt the children. And then Don points the gun at him. He grabs it.
They
They
wrestle.
struggle. He gets away. He throws her on the bed, shoots her in the back, and kills her.
Now, I think that DeFeo was possessed or something. I think there was something going on with that, and
What do you say?
I think, and
I don't know. He could have picked that up somewhere else too. I mean, he was into this crazy druggy lifestyle.
there's all kind of things that go along with that.
There's no
so-
telling what else he was into, just like George Lutz.
Mhm.
You know?
Agreed. So
It's late 60s,
so-
early 70s. You know, people were they're exploring New Age, the
And
Church of
how
Satan, and all
about-
this stuff.
So, as far as physical evidence, how about the picture that was captured the night that they stayed?
The Warrens picture that they claim is John DeFeo,
No, John DeFeo, the son.
the infrared
Yes.
picture
Yeah,
that showed up, had never been seen until they were on the
Top of the
Merv Griffin show promoting the upcoming film.
top of the stairwell, and the poking his head out of the door and looking.
I don't know. It looks way too good to be real,
It does look real.
especially with 1970s technology.
Yeah, just saying. I don't know. And that's just it. We don't know.
It does look
Obviously,
like John DeFeo. I'll give you that.
it does, doesn't it? So, but think about, probably the best as far as historically, when we look back over photos that have been taken where you can go, okay, that's a ghost, that's not a ghost, that's a spirit, that's not a spirit, or whatever. The gray lady coming down the stairwell, and they've never been able to debunk it. I've seen ghosts. You've seen ghosts.
Uh-huh.
So,
That just looks an IR picture of a kid poking his head around the corner.
and it could have been, but we don't know. I mean, so, but
I think it's a little convenient that they first premiered the photograph
yeah,
as they're promoting the film.
I think the place is haunted. I think it was haunted before the Lutzes moved in. I think that that DeFeo was oppressed, if not possessed. I think that the Lutzes were haunted while they were there by whatever was in the house. And then I don't know if since then it's been blessed and whatever has been exercised or whatever. But I do believe that there was something going on. Because even George Lutz said, he said, we embellished a bunch of stuff. But I think that it was haunted. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm undecided. I really think he was a Looney Tune, and I really think that
Which one? Lutz?
DeFeo.
Oh, yeah.
When he came and murdered his family. But that was intentional, obviously. I really feel like it was intentional that they came in there with that plan. Maybe not to kill them all, but at least kill the dad.
Oh, I'm sure he wanted to kill his dad.
I mean, I know that they, it was, but I don't think any of us will ever really know what happened and how nobody ever heard anything, how all of them were face down. And I was thinking what would be really neat. I mean, I wouldn't want this to happen again, but if this had happened in what we have now.
With the technology we have now.
If we could have redone and gone through all of this again and had, been able to piece together like we can with all of our...
I mean, you could have probably backed up Butch's story by checking for any scratches or anything on him or on Dawn's body that would have the other's DNA inside of it, indicating a struggle.
They had struggled, yeah.
Right.
DNA didn't exist back then. Well, it did. It's always existed.
Yeah.
But the ability to test for it
Right.
didn't exist.
Well, and then there was talk that there was 2 of the children that they think were awake. That there was evidence that they believe that they could have been awake. I don't know how they figured that out.
That Dawn was awake and her mother was awake.
Is that what it was?
That was the 2 that they think could have been awake when they were shot.
So Butch says, and granted, not reliable, but his story is that he shot his father.
Not Dawn. It was Louise and her daughter Allison.
The first one didn't do it, and his father charged him. He shot him again. Then he turned, shot his mother once. His accomplice with the .38 went and shot his mother again. Then the other accomplice ran away. The 2 men, Butch and Billy Joe, whatever the hell his name is, they go chase after him. When they get back, they find that Dawn has killed the 2 younger siblings, and then that's when the struggle over the gun
can't
occurs.
have witnesses. Can't have witnesses.
Well, there are 2 witnesses, except one of them is now dead, and the other one was in witness protection over an unrelated matter.
Yeah,
had gone into WITSEC.
But there were 3 siblings, because there was a total of 6 dead. There's 3 younger, and then Dawn, and then the parents.
Yeah.
So Dawn killed all 3?
Butch killed the mom and dad.
Yep.
He claims Dawn killed the other ones, and then he killed her.
And then he killed her.
That doesn't even bring into the whole Defeo family mafia ties.
Connection.
Yeah, because he was trying to say that they were part of the Gambino. Was it?
No, I believe it's his uncle. Well, they were mobbed up. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I believe his father's brother was a made member of the Genovese family, and then also Butch's girlfriend, maybe also wife's father, was a capo in the Colombo family. So
yeah, they were definitely mobbed up.
Yeah.
But
and that Buick dealership was mobbed up as hell.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think he wanted their money? Is that what the thing was?
No, because they gave him money.
Is that what it was?
He claims that the mobbed up uncle and stuff came to him and said, "This is embarrassing for everyone. You're the junkie, and so you're taking the fall for all of this."
See, like I said, I wish it had happened now, where we had all of this stuff, or that we could go back in time and figure out what happened. Just because we have so many, you watch all these crime shows, all these different things that we have.
And George Lutz was MC'd up.
Yeah.
Well, he was. Remember, there was some club there. I don't know what club it was.
I don't think it was like a
Big Five club.
No, I don't think it was like that at all.
But I don't. So I don't know. To go back, I think that there's obviously some sort of haunting in possession. I don't think that they made it all up. I mean, and the sons have said it. They really truly believe it, and they feel it, and they are emotional about it.
What do you think, John?
I believe that the 2 sons believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was probably haunted.
There's something in their eyes that there is scarred. There are emotional scars from that experience that still exist in those 50-something-year-old men to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Something scared them.
Now, enough interviews with George and Kathy that they are so deceptive, they appear deceptive, that I don't trust a word they say. Yeah. But I do believe that the 2 sons believe what they believe with all their heart.
Yeah. Agreed.
And it messed them up.
It sure did.
Well, this scotch did not mess me up. Tell me about it again. What do we drink?
It's Tamdhu 12.
Is it Tamdhu?
Tamdhu?
Tamdhu.
I'm going to go Tamdhu, although you can say Tamdhu.
Okay.
Or Tam don't. It's up to you.
Tamdhu.
12-year-old Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey.
And it is really, really good.
It is delicious.
It is delicious. So, where do we want everybody to go see us? What are all the places?
YouTube, 3B paranormal-spirits.com.
There you go.
I mean, there's no .com on YouTube, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. 3B paranormal dash, is it paranormal dash spirits?
I don't think
It
it's
is. It is a dash still. It's 3B, like the number 3. It's 3 Bravo, paranormal-spirits.
Okay.
On the tubes.
Okay. Website?
It is not a dash.
There's
bro.
no dash.
There's
No.
not a dash.
Okay.
It's 3B Paranormal Spirits.
Do we know what our own YouTube
Wow.
channel is?
3B Paranormal Spirits.
You start typing 3B space
And it's
paranormal,
gonna come
it's
up.
going to
Yeah,
come
it's
up.
going to come up. Okay, what's our website?
Paranormal-spirits.com.
www.
Of course.
Yeah.
Dot. paranormal.
We do have booze with benefits.
Actually, it's a secured site, so
It's
Thank
https
you.
colon backslash
Lord.
backslash
We also-
www.paranormal-spirits.com.
We also have
.html.
Facebook,
we have Facebook, and that's Booze with Benefits.
booze with benefits.
Is our Facebook group. You can go to Instagram, and the Instagram, I'm having troubles getting the name changed over to a paranormal thing, so it's right now it's MW Black 1966. So I'm working on it.
But the cool thing is you can see some of his older posts with wristwatches and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
and motorcycles,
Motorcycles.
and all kinds of cool stuff. TikTok, we have paranormal _DASH dash _ spirits. So paranormal spelled out dash spirits on TikTok, and on Twitter, same thing. It's the MW Black 1966, and our podcast. You can hop onto the feeds.captivate.fm / paranormal spirits, or
But you're going to need an RSS app. So.
yeah, but you can go to Amazon Music or Audible, Spotify, Apple Podcast, pretty much any Google Podcast, for crying out loud. Any place that you can get a podcast, you can listen to this. So tell your friends, and they can listen to it on their favorite apps.
Also at paranormal-spirits.com, we have our swag available.
Oh yeah, we do have swag. We have a store now. We have caps and coffee mugs, and t-shirts and Razorback tees, and
I told you that Mara, my daughter ordered
I said
a t-shirt
thank you to her.
yesterday.
Yeah, I did. I hit her up on Facebook and told her thank you.
She didn't even order the one that has my name on it. She went and ordered the other one that says, "Oh shit, get the sage." She didn't order the John said the B word. She's like, I like this one better. Like, okay,
well.
whatever.
Kids will be kids. All right.
Alrighty.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Check us out in all the places. Y'all have a good night.
There you
Bye
go.
bye.